everybody, welcome back with another episode of the Wilde Cabin podcast. It's been about a 2-week podcast because I was just busy, and I got the results of the podcast, and it seems like it's doing all right. But for the first time ever, I've promised you guys a very, very special co-host, and I finally landed somebody in my community that I knew had to be number one. My friend, my artist, and we grow closer every day. I want to introduce you guys to a special person called MVP. Say hello, MVP.
Hello, so my name's MVP.
Tell everybody what you've done in the community since we started and how we met. I want to give you all the spotlight.
So, we met through a mutual friend, and I heard that you needed to have artwork done for your channel because you wanted to do a bit of a rebrand.
Mm-hmm.
So, we spoke a little bit, and I sent over some portfolio pieces, and it really went from there, to be honest.
And can you believe? Do you remember the first question that you ever asked me, or about the first question that you asked me?
I believe it was, can you find a Funko Pop?
Yes, it was, and
it was Sergeant Johnson.
It was Sergeant Johnson from Halo, and currently right now, as people know, I had to basically sell my whole entire collection. But this crazy person that I personally feel responsible for getting addicted to Funkos has a bigger collection that I've ever had, and I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud of that. You have a bigger wall than me at this point. Well, yeah, at this point, absolutely.
Yeah, I think last time I checked my Funko up, I'm sitting at about 133.
And probably altogether over 10 grand. Probably,
about
estimation.
Yeah, with signs and prototypes.
Basically what I had. But it grows every day. It grows, well, not every day, I would say. It used to grow every day, but
it took a bit of a break, but now they're bringing out good pops again. So
damn, they are. Oh god, I better look out then, because we just got WonderCon and then ECC earlier in the year, and Jesus. But
yeah, there wasn't really anything from those, but look forward to the future.
All I could hope for is just another set of Spyro, and that's it. Maybe another set of Destiny too. Maybe
Yeah.
just 20 more Destiny pops, limited edition, all traces. Jesus Christ.
Or maybe some Sly Cooper.
Yeah, I wish for that. I wish. But no, I personally wanted to have you on here. Because I feel like the timing is right, and two, I think both of us we're getting our shit back together. I think the world basically threw us a curveball, and I gotta say, you were definitely my biggest rock for the longest time. I think you still are. As the community has risen, you have definitely been there for me since the day I met you, which is crazy to say.
Yeah.
Now that I have a new mindset where I don't want followers. They're nice, but I want friends at the end of the day. That, when I message them or when they're in the stream or whatever, they're there. They're there just to have fun, and you were that person for a very, very long time before anybody knew, or recent memory, like within the year. You were there day one, and I'm like, we connected on art, Funko, streaming, gaming, and I'm like, that person's been there, because no matter what we've been through, we've been there for each other.
That is true. Like, I know that whenever each of us is like a rainy day, it's like, hey, how's it going? You're holding up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, I personally want to throw it out there because, you know, I think everybody needs that person. You know, I always believe somebody needs a rival to be better than themselves, you know, if they're competitive or they're working toward the same goal. And everybody needs a friend, you know, that they could just tell whatever's on their mind. What go ahead.
I agree wholeheartedly to all of that.
What do you think the biggest thing in a friendship could be? Because, you know, I've been the lone wolf for a while. I'm like, I don't. It's not that I don't need people. It's just trust issues. That's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
Trust issues. I'm like, I can't. I've been hurt. I've been hurt way too many times. But what do you think? You know, from my perspective, it may be different. You know, that's what I want to build off a conversation on. What do you think the biggest thing in a friendship is?
Well, first off, I'd say trust, because you've got to trust each other to have each other's backs. But more importantly than that is having each other's backs, being there for each other.
How do you build off on that? Would you say a common ground?
I would say, yeah, there would probably be some sort of common ground, but it's just like if you trust each other to, you know, if someone comes for one of you, the other one's going to have that person's back, be it online, because we do live in a sort of internet-oriented world now where anything can be said without consequence for the internet. It can put anyone through any kind of mood, so just having someone there to lean on, so to say.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, I know, because I feel this. I feel so much better since I met you. And like I don't want to make this like mushy gushy, you know? But I mean I just say how it is, you know. I always feel like you know, my mindset is whoever listens to this, you know, the one they're not alone, because, you know, there's always that person, even if you don't like realize it, like first come first serve, there's always going to be someone there, playing bluntly. And I'm like, that's my MVP right there, you know. Your name's MVP for a reason. I would say probably about a year now. You changed your name, but
Yeah.
you're always my MVP on that. Because I mean, you're the MVP right now. No, nothing's gonna stop you. But right now, you know, we talked about it with art. You know, I reached out to you, or you know, you reached out to me. You know, as I've said, a mutual friend, and we build it off on there. How is it feeling? Like, granted, I'm not a big channel, you know, maybe one day I will be, but how does it feel seeing your art on somebody's media almost daily at this point? You know, I do daily videos up on YouTube, even sometimes twice a day, and your art's on that daily. How does that make you feel?
Honestly, it feels pretty crazy because it's like every day I get the notifications and it's, you know, Mrjoewilde has uploaded a new video, and I see it's like my thumbnail there. Whenever I go into your streams, be you online or offline, it's the header I've made for you. The screens. The only thing I haven't made at this point is the overlay.
Yep.
And it's pretty crazy to see that, because it's like when you study art-related courses in the hopes of landing something like this, it's like, oh damn, that's me. You know, like my art has went from being on an ArtStation account where it's seen by like whoever has a look, it may get one like, to being all over YouTube.
And more. Twitter, Instagram,
Yeah.
it's all over media. Well, my media. But you know, what is your dream as an artist? Because we've talked about this, but what is your dreams and aspirations as an artist? Do you want to pursue that?
I do want to pursue it. I'd like to go into games art and games concepting, which is why I'm doing a games oriented course. And I feel like that's where a lot of skills have came from, and a lot of even doing this has built up my skills over the years, and it's plain to see that.
What do you feel, where do you feel like your thumbnail is most improved? Because from like I said, we talked about this a little bit, but I've seen growth dramatically, from the first one you did till now. Where do you think that point was on the YouTube thumbnails where you're just like, oh fuck, I did that? Where was that?
Honestly, everything has changed for the better. So the thumbnail composition, the character art, the human, and the few ones that you were Yasona, which I believe was the Halo Reach Let's Play.
Yep.
And then I would say one of the biggest differences was going from a hand-drawn background, because someone like me who isn't as comfortable in drawing environments, to using an image and blurring that out. I felt like that supplemented the piece really well compared to having a decent looking character but a shoddy background.
I would have never called your background shoddy, but go on.
Yeah, I know they were, and it's like, but like the lighting, the shading, just everything about the thumbnails really. Like the first one I did was Assassin's Creed 1, and looking back at that now, I'm like, I drew that. And then I look and it was 2 years ago, and it was like over the 2 years from that one to, let's say, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, because that was the last Assassin's Creed you've done. It's just, you wouldn't correlate the both of them.
It's insane to me. I mean, I think my realization was when I saw Little Dragon's Cafe, because that was one of my growing points. That Let's Play, I wouldn't say trouble with the chroma key, aka the green screen. If you're not a nerd like me, listen, and you're hearing this, because the grass in that game is a different set of green, so it screws up the chroma key. And I love that game. One day I will redo it, possibly, because it's a long game. But that thumbnail, I look at that and I'm just like, holy shit. Like, I would have never called that bad, but you've grown so much. And then, like I said, Binding of Isaac, that recently made a comeback, and I'll be uploading more. And I'm like, holy shit, this is still good 2 years ago, and the thumbnail is still amazing in my book. That's truly, I think definitely, like I said, you were the right hand man in all this. Like look at, I wouldn't say look at us now, but I'm just like, or because I always want to carry the people to the top. That help me, and you're that person. You're that person, where I'm just like, well, shit. If I feel like you can only do so much as a media personnel like myself, but if you don't really have a good backbone or a good structure, I can't do art. So I'm just like, okay, how is it working with a friend? Well, in this case, me, but would you consider it? Is it better for you to work with a friend, or is it better to go with a stranger and do commissions like that, just to get your foot in the door?
I would say it's 50-50, but both in good ways, because it's like you're with a friend, so it's like, especially when anxiety and stuff comes into play, it's like, is this good?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you don't know necessarily if they're saying it's good because friends or,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but then at the same time, it's great because lately with like mental health and stuff, if you have like an art block,
Mm-hmm.
it's like there's that level of understanding. It's like, you know, take take time, let me know,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll get back to it. Whereas I feel like if you're doing that for a stranger,
Mm-hmm.
because I do know people that do regular commissions, and it's like when they have to take a break from art, be it for any reason, they can have a message within a day like, "Hey, where's my piece?"
Yeah.
And that's the last thing you want.
Yeah. I personally think when somebody messages an artist, it's just gonna make the artist feel worse, or the anxiety is just gonna skyrocket.
Yeah.
But this isn't gonna be just about art. But what do you think a person can do to support artists like yourself? Because I always say artists are one of the least appreciated people in media. In my opinion, people steal their art. They don't acknowledge the artist. People claim it as their own piece. What do you think people could do for artists that could help them?
Well, I think for a start, retweeting the small guys, because the way that Twitter works is if you do a quote retweet,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't the algorithm doesn't necessarily come back to the original artist.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Sometimes, yeah, so sometimes it's just easier to do a retweet,
Okay.
just because the algorithm can be quite funky.
Okay.
But then I would also say, look out if you see art in a familiar style,
Mm-hmm.
be sure to check it out. Ask that artist if they've drew anything like that, especially if it's missing a signature,
Mm-hmm.
because all artists leave a sign or watermark their work. And if it's missing that and it's something they usually do, chances are it could be stolen without knowing. But then for an artist, I'd say put your signature in a spot where it's impossible to crop.
Yeah.
Because if you have a 4x3 canvas and you have your signature in the bottom left and the subject piece is directly in the middle and there's a border around it, people can just crop that out. So if you have your signature as close to the piece as you can,
Mm-hmm.
even that can help.
But yeah, I've personally been seeing more and more people take their signature and do it as the outline of the body. And I'm just like, wow, I didn't even think about that. But if you put it on like a shoulder, or like directly under the piece, it's just like, oh well, nobody could steal this, because you're gonna be cropping the head off. And I don't think
Yeah.
somebody just wants the body. Be like, oh well, yep, I just drew a body, sorry. But in your experience, uh how do you grow as an artist? Because for me, uh technically, I sort of employ you, but we don't talk about that. We do it
Mhm.
as friends. I don't treat you as an employee, and I hope you can commit to that. I have mental days, you have mental days, and we just respect each other in that way. uh what is the best way to grow, in your opinion? Practice, but what else besides that? Because you've grown dramatically in 2 years. Like we talked about, what is the best way to grow and put yourself out there?
Well, of course, as you said, the best way to grow is 100% practice.
Mm-hmm.
Do a drawing,
Mm-hmm.
most days of the week. But I would say with your art, reference everything. It's one of the common stigmas at secondary school and for the Americans out there, high school,
Mm-hmm.
is that You can go into an art class, you can have books there, subject matters like Da Vinci, for example. And it's like, because I used a lot of Da Vinci's books for anatomy studies, and they were fantastic. And you always have that one art teacher that goes, you can't copy another artist's work because they don't see the difference between referencing and copying. To reference a work is to reference a pose. Anything in life, reference, even if it's a pose, take a photograph. I know that for artists now, there's these amazing little mannequin figurines you can buy.
Yep.
And you can put them into any pose you want. And those are fantastic. But if you're thinking of that one pose, for example, someone sitting down, even going to Google Images and type in person sitting down, and then looking through, even something like that can help tremendously.
Just because the visual,
just having it there, seeing how everything should sit, how the body should sit, it's all posture work and everything. Because otherwise you can end up with pieces that have like giant arms or giant legs, and it doesn't make sense. That's why stuff like life drawing is so good. But for those either too young to do life drawing, or right now with COVID where it isn't on,
yeah,
that would probably be the best way.
Mm-hmm.
But then in terms of growing as an artist, not necessarily practice-based, getting your foot through the door, getting your name out there,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's worthwhile to have accounts in that subject matter. Have a DeviantArt account. If you're a furry, have like a fur affinity account, because it's crazy how many people can like an image from nowhere and see that work. Have ArtStation accounts, because even they're fantastic, and the best part about ArtStation is, especially someone like me looking to go into game dev, is that there are games employees on there, people in the industry. But not only that, there's tutors there, and they can point out stuff in your work. Any bit of feedback is good feedback.
That's
the end of the day.
That is 100% true. Even if it's negative, it may not seem like it at first, but even if it's a negative comment, like not trying to be rude, but just pointing something out, you may take that personal, but I think deep down a lot more people, especially in the art community, are trying to help, and people don't realize that.
Yeah. It's just about being vocal and being constructive and making it clear that you're being constructive, because sometimes some people can come off a bit brash.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's just any point though.
That is true, but not only should you be posting work, it's tagging that work correctly.
That is true.
Like ArtStation is fantastic because you can tag whatever you want. You can say what type of work the piece is, be it 2D digital, 3D digital, 2D traditional methods, so pen and paper.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can tag even what program you used. So if there's someone going through that goes, I use Clip Studio Paint, let's see what people from this program have been doing. Your work could appear on there. And it's fantastic. Having the right tags can go a long way. And I know that you'll know the same through Twitch streaming. It's all about having the right tags.
Oh, I personally think it's more important on YouTube. But I think probably in the last 6 months I figured out tagging correctly. Because it's not just like tagging everything. It's like tagging the main things that are important to you and then taking it from there. But absolutely I think there are plenty of free sites that'll teach you how to tag, especially YouTube. I think we're in the world of, if you have a problem, Google it or YouTube it. I've definitely think we're in, which is good. Certain things you could just learn from there. Boom, you're good to go. Other things I think you have to learn through hardship and trial and error, which I've had to do. Absolutely. At the end of the day, boom, yeah, I tapped out to failure, absolutely, but I didn't give up. I don't think people should give up. I think at a certain point you either know it's good for you and you want to stick with it, you know, through the bumpy roads and everything, but you just can't give up even if you have a passion for it. And I know artists definitely, I've known several artists that they're just like, well, this is too hard, I'm not getting attention, I can't do it. You know, artists, like I said, I think they deserve more credit for sure. And also, before I ask you another question, I will be posting MVP's links down below in the description. Please make sure you're listening to this on Spotify, Stitcher, and everywhere podcasts are, and especially YouTube as well. Thank you, listeners on YouTube. So make sure you follow MVP's links below. There you go. There you go, friendo.
Thank you.
Of course. First of all, do you, before I get into my next topic, do you have anything that you want to get off your chest currently right now? Any questions for me? Anything that you want to talk about that this community would love to hear, or the peoples in general?
Well, you've asked me how I've grew over the past 2 years I know you, so I'd like to bring the question back to you. How do you think you've grown over the past 2 years?
Oh god, that's a hard one. I don't know. If I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think you would fucking reverse card me there with Uno. But I don't know. I would maybe say I gained a little bit more confidence talking on this mic. I definitely think the only thing that I would definitely say is, one, my mental stability has increased from doing that. Not in the way, like, this is fucking hard. We're in the era of everybody's media personnel. I can't get ahead, and I still haven't gotten ahead. But I stick by my morals. Always be who I am. Always be myself. And if you don't like me, they can go fuck themselves. You know, this is who I am. And you know that I think that's why the community is very nice and sweet, where that's my rule. Be yourself, and that's it. You know, I will accept you for who you are, accept me who I am, and that's it. But I think the only major thing, because I've always talked, is my trial and error, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. And definitely within the last year and a half, I've changed a lot. You know, changing via profile pictures, switching up the chroma key, the mic, the camera. I'm really at that ground where it's not like I know I'm not gonna get popular, but I'm very grateful for what I have. But I've changed and improved in so many ways that the small things matter. You know, if somebody has a trouble with their chroma key or something, they may not be able to fix it as fast as I can. Or, you know, I have the mental stability of, even if you have a low count of viewers watching you, you know, via Twitch, it could get to some people, because I've been there where I'm just like, fuck this shit, I'm done. This is too hard. This is too hard. It's not worth my time a day. Nobody's watching me. I've helped my mental stability not to like cope with that mechanism, but not trying to focus more on analytics, because analytics could change in a day and we don't even figure that out. You know, for example, with past archives on Twitch, you know, maybe I get like 5 views live. The next day, I wake up and I get like 100+ views on the past broadcast because people watched it. It's crazy. It's crazy. But that's a very good question. Shit, I didn't even think about that. Thank you. I don't ask myself questions when I do this alone, so thank you for that.
You're welcome. It was quite insightful to hear from your perspective, though.
Oh yeah, it's hard. I definitely think we're in the era where I think you gotta be online. You gotta be online. Even on one platform. I don't have Facebook. I honestly think it brings more drama than positivity. Like if we didn't talk in high school or middle school, why do I want to talk to you as an adult?
Yeah.
That that's my biggest thing. But in the way of Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, I think you're not really friends right away with the people that watch you. My favorite people, I got to shout out to all my lurkers, because I think they're really the pure judgmental type where they're not going to follow you right away or subscribe. They're going to wait to see what you do to see if you impress them. And I've been known to lurk in several streams where it's not that I don't want to say hi, it's just I want to see your vibe. If you have a crappy vibe, I don't want to be there. Like I have raged on camera with competitive games. I have chilled. I have talked to chat. But those lurkers really get to you. But they support you even without saying anything. They're just like, I like you. But no. As I was saying, like especially with art, what you do and what I do, podcasting, Twitch streaming, YouTubing. I think when somebody looks at your art, they will instantly be a fan. With you or any artist, people may say, shit, I'm an instant fan of that. Follow, like all their posts, boom. With Instagramming and YouTubing, I think it's a little different, in my opinion, because one, with art, no disrespect, you see it and you scroll down. You like it, follow the artist, and then move on. But with Twitch streaming, it's just like, I don't know if I like this person. What do you have to say to that? Do you think I'm right on that or no?
Oh, no, I do agree, because the artist, at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, you only see the art, whereas the Twitch streamer, you see the stream, but then you've got to be like, is this a likable person?
Yeah, exactly.
Do I connect with this person?
Absolutely. Like, will I come back tomorrow and like this person more? Absolutely. Like I think, well, I would say I'm a beginner streamer because I've been doing this for 5 years now, almost. My anniversary's coming up in August, which is insane. I think I'm at that middle ground where my numbers fluctuate because it's just like, I personally feel like everybody's sensitive. Everybody is so sensitive now. Nobody could have a conversation or a disagreement. Like, if I say, oh, my favorite fruit is apples, and somebody says my favorite fruit is oranges, unfollow, leave. Like, one thing you could say that they don't disagree with, they leave completely. But with art, I feel like, okay, I see your art, I'm always gonna love that style, or I'm gonna love the artist, and that's it. But that's my problem. I don't shut the hell up.
No, that is true. We have actually reached the stage of internet life where it is like, you feel you have to be a lot more careful as to what you say.
Absolutely. But with me, I'm just like, well, shit. But I don't think of it as a crux. I think more people, my biggest thing is I want to give people that confidence to speak out, because I know how it is to not have a voice. I didn't grow up with a voice. It was either yes dad, no dad, speak when you're spoken to, or you're just gonna get hit. And now as an adult, I'm just like, well, I could say whatever I want. And I think it's given me the power, I would say, to really stick up for people that don't really have a voice,
Yeah, I mean, mine was very similar. It was more living in my own head than living in real life.
Oh, absolutely. And and let's transition to something.
Yeah,
And
let's move on.
no, actually, if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. We can move on. But I think you and I have a very similar story to this. Do you mind if we talk about mental health for a minute?
Yeah.
You hesitated there. I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable.
No, it's fine. We can talk.
Okay. The only reason why I bring that up is one, I feel like mental health is extremely relatable, especially now. And I would honestly say why we were such a good pairing. I don't really believe in fate. I don't. Whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. I don't believe that. But I think there was a reason why we met, and as I portrayed before, you were my rock. You were there. I'm like, hey, don't worry, I got you. I'm like, even though you're halfway across the world, you were there, and I'm just like, well, fuck, okay. But mental health, I think, definitely correlates to me and what I stand for. And I want to tell people more. Mental health is no joke. I think my biggest enemy is myself. I have self-abused myself because mentally I'm just like, oh, I did something wrong. I hit myself because that's what I grew up with. And that was my biggest crux. Not like hitting myself for attention, but like grabbing a belt and just hitting myself on the back because my mental stability. I'm like, oh, I fucked up. And it wasn't like a serious thing. It's like, oh my god, I raged on camera or something, and I'm just like, well, I time to get punished. And why? At the end of the day, I had to say to myself, why the hell am I fucking doing this? And then I say it as a joke, truly, wholeheartedly, nobody could insult me the way that I insult myself. It may sound fucked up, and I get it, but I feel like that's given me my stone skin, where I'm just like, well, nobody could ever insult me. I will laugh at insults because I find them funny, or my brain goes like, haha, I thought of that first. so
Yeah.
I gotta think of it as a positive manner. I'm probably at this point about a 1 year. I wouldn't say 1.5, but probably 1 year mentally. I wouldn't say mentally fixed, but no self-harm to me, so good job to me. But I think a lot of people like need help, or need that voice where they're just like, I'm alone, because I'm there. I'm definitely there with you. People that have anxiety and everything, and the world is just coming down upon us, especially during COVID. Looks like it's slightly getting better now, so hopefully by this time next year, no more masks. But what that was just a little piece of my mental health. Do you mind if we move on to yours? Because you were my rock, even if sometimes you didn't even know it. So like I said, I want to thank you live on camera again. Thank you very much for being my rock.
You're welcome. Yeah, with me, it's more so like having autism. It's like it ramps up my anxiety a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Anxiety ramps up the depression.
Mm-hmm.
Depression ramps up the anxiety, and it becomes the endless cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's trying to find ways to break the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And some days it's harder than others.
Absolutely.
It is what it is, but like having people there for you definitely helps more than trying to fight it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first thing anyone tries to do, I know I do, and I know that you probably do as well, is oh no, I'm having mental health issues, be it depression, anxiety, whatever, the first thing you do is you go into isolate mode where you isolate yourself from
Absolutely.
everyone else.
Absolutely.
And that's genuinely one of the worst things you can do.
And
because
oh, go ahead.
because you end up living with the negative emotions in your head and it festers.
No, absolutely. I do that. I do that more than I should. But for me, I didn't know, that I had, like, I thought that shit was normal. Because my coping mechanism is that isolation, but my reasoning is, you're my friend. I love you, but I don't want you to feel that I'm feeling. Granted, I live by, if I get asked a question, I'm fucked, because if somebody says, how are you feeling, you're not gonna get the okay. You're gonna be like, I am depressed answer, and they're gonna be like, wait, what? And I'm gonna be like, yeah, you asked. But I'm just like, I love you, I can't tell you my problems because I don't want you to feel my negativity.
Yeah.
That's how I do it. But I think we've both done that to each other. But I think our grace period is like 4 days. If we don't hear from each other in like 4 days, we're like, something's up. Something's up, and I need to throw flowers at this person, feel better. But sometimes it's not that simple. I've told you, I think twice now, where I'm just like, I need to be alone. I think recently, within the last 6 months, I have told you where I got to step away from the world for a week. But by God, when I came back from that week, I was spitting. I had a halo over my head. I felt good. But it's still bad though. It's I won't say it's not bad to lay in bed with a blanket and just be alone. But I think at a certain point, you gotta be like, oh fuck, I either need to get some help, talk to somebody, without dealing with this alone. I've learned that it's easier with others, and I gotta realize, no, you're not burdening them, you're getting them closer to you, and that's my problem. I don't let certain people close because I see a flaw that I don't like, and I'm like, nope, bye, you're staying away from me, or I'm not telling them the whole story. But mental health's no joke. Mental health is no joke.
Yeah. That's the thing to really reiterate. If you have that one friend that seems to be a bit down, take the time to ask them.
Oh, absolutely. And I know from experience, if they say, oh, how are you? And they say, okay, that's your red flag. That's your red flag.
Yeah. Don't press too much, because sometimes that can cause more harm than good, even with the goodest intentions.
True.
But just take that time.
Absolutely. Take
sure if you need anyone to talk to,
Absolutely. That, I think you said it right on the head. Well, if you need somebody, I'm here. Don't hesitate. Boom. Leave it at that. Back away. And that's it. It's crazy. It's crazy with mental health. I wanna move on, not move on, but I wanna reiterate this question, because I could be a hard ass. I definitely think I could be a hard ass for sure. But I call certain people out. I'm not calling you out by any means. You're fucking awesome. But do you think the word sad is lost in the world? Because all I hear now is, oh no, I'm depressed. Why? What happened? They ran out of Starbucks cream. I'm like, wait, what? So you're sad? No, I'm depressed because I can get the thing that I wanted. Do you feel like the word sad is, or the word depressed is misused? In your opinion?
I feel like in some instances it can seem that way, but then at the same time, it's like when you do have some people, like, I know with myself, like, there's some things that, I feel like I rely on now and then, or I could go to the shop. I'm like, yeah, I need this, like some sort of comfort food, for example, like an ice cream,
Okay.
and then they don't have it, and it's like, oh, I'm sad they didn't have it on offer, or they didn't have it, or whatever. It depends on the connotation. Like if it's someone saying it just to be like, oh, I'm sad they didn't have it, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, it could be someone that's like, they're looking for that specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could be going through a rough patch. It makes them feel good. It's hard to tell.
Okay.
I don't feel like there's a specific loss in the meaning,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't feel like there's a specific, like, there's not a specific loss, but there's not a specific connotation to the meaning either.
I got you. Yeah, like I just don't hear anybody say the word sad anymore. I don't know. Maybe that could just be me, but I just feel like everybody's small problems has now escalated to fuck. I am depressed.
Yeah, I don't think COVID has helped with that at all, though.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. COVID fucked a lot of people up, but in the fucked up way that I am, it's not like I'm happy that it's around, but it makes my problems seem so less insignificant. And it's given me that, not happiness that COVID's around, but it really shot me down a peg where I'm just like, oh fuck, my problems aren't as big as I think. And it took the weight of my shoulders where I'm just like, not like everybody's suffering, not just me, ha ha ha. But it really kicked me down a peg to realize, oh fuck, I think I can get through this. Same with everybody else, absolutely. But COVID fucked everything up.
Yeah. I feel like for a lot of people it was like, oh, there's a lot worse problems in the world than like what I feel's going on with me, because with COVID, with a lot of people came a lot of loss at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And I feel like for some people it was like, oh, there is a lot more going on than like, I could be like down for whatever reason. But I'm like, but someone else is down because they've got what could be perceived as a genuine reason.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can't, like, yeah, I could be sad, but at the back of my mind, I'm just like, oh shit, somebody I know has COVID. I got to be there for him.
Yeah.
But I think we have time for maybe one more topic. We've almost hit the hour mark already, which is insane.
Yeah.
What do you think your coping mechanism or your happiest thing to do? Because for me, it's sort of lost on me where I'm a Twitch streamer. Sometimes I just sit and talk with chat, or I play video games. Most of the time it's video games. But for you, because I don't really game at all anymore off camera, because it's not that I don't feel like it's work. It's just, why do I want to play this game when I could stream it and talk with others? With art, do you find that relaxing still, solo, because you don't have a camera in front of you at all times, but do you enjoy art as a relaxing hobby? Do you play video games? What is your coping mechanism or to make you happy?
So sometimes it's art, sometimes it's video games. Like art is one of those weird ones now where before it was a hobby, now it's a job, so to speak. So
Absolutely.
it's like my life revolves around art. So sometimes it's like, yeah, I need to take a break from doing art because it's all I ever do. It's like I go to uni, I do art.
Mm-hmm.
I I do your thumbnails and stuff. It's art.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sometimes it's like, oh boy, I need to do something not art related.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh, and what are those things besides art that you do? Relax.
Well, I do some gaming, but then I've collected some stuff in the past, like Halo construction sets, Destiny construction sets, and they've been more of a coping mechanism lately. It's like just taking the time to build them can take the mind off anything. So it's like, yeah, I could build these right now, and it's like, oh look, I've got 4 sparrows.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, or I could build them when I need to, when I feel like I need to just have that break from the routine.
Yeah, you got to keep your mind busy.
Yeah, it's because like, yeah, you can go shopping, you can get a new pop, but then it's like add it to the wall.
Yeah, then
So
what?
yeah, it's like, yeah, it's cool to look at, but that's about it. Whereas like if you have something like, the construction sets, it's like, oh, I get to take some time to do something with this.
Absolutely. You know, maybe I'll look into puzzles or something to do with my hands. But you're absolutely right. For me, my happiest thing was finding Funkos for you or myself because it's the thrill of the hunt. Where it's just like once you get it in your hand, it's not that you don't want it. It's just fuck. Now what? Like
Yeah.
you accomplished the goal, like the holy grail. Well, now what? You know, I gotta go find
Yeah.
another one.
It's like I can remember because Sergeant Johnson was the biggest one I was hunting for a while because they announced the Halo series.
Yep.
And I was like, I really want Sergeant Johnson, but I want the chase because it has his iconic cigar.
Mm-hmm.
He literally went. There are very few scenes in Halo when he's without that cigar.
Yep.
I need it.
Mm-hmm.
And I went everywhere, every shop, sometimes of a weekly basis, sometimes
Wow.
every few days. I would do a
Jesus.
loop of stores because I knew that they had regular pop.
That I didn't know. Jesus.
Yeah, regular pop deliveries. I'm like, yeah, I want this. But then I was at the Birmingham HMV one day and it was talking to them and it was like, have you got this chase in? And they were like, usually if we get a chase and it's very rare because when the pops arrive at DC,
Mm-hmm.
people will take out the chases there. So
Yep.
if a chase comes to store, it's slim to none. And then when it does, you've got people that are queuing up at 8:30 in the morning to get inside to have a look what chases we've got.
So let me fill the listeners in that don't know anything about Funkos. First of all, MVP is in the UK. I'm in the US. One small thing is the US gets more Funkos than the UK because of shipping reasons and licensings and everything. And we get the genuine sticker. Like we got Hot Topic, GameStop, a lot of nerd store stickers. Basically, Funko said to the UK and Europe and a lot of internationals, we don't like you. Here's a special sticker because you don't have the store. Here's a special sticker. And it's probably the most disgusting sticker I've ever seen on God's green earth, if I'm going to be honest with you. And MVP could honestly agree.
Yeah, it's just a silver sticker that says exclusive on it.
And it looks like crap. Now, the thing about chases, that what makes them rare is because normally it is a 1 in 6 chance. Special occasions, it could be in like 136, 172. Very, very rare. So that's why MVP kept on going back to the stores like, oh, why can't you order it online? This was I wouldn't say this was before the time of like ordering Funkos online, before it went mainstream, but it's different from the UK and the US with ordering and finding stuff. I just want to reiterate that. And like I said, that's how we met. That is literally how we met. How we first talked, and I'll never forget like the message I got back. Oh, hey, I found it. And it was probably like 2 minutes. I'm like, oh, hey, I found it. And you were just so fucking happy. You said really like 3 times.
Yeah, I remember having that message like, oh, found one. I'm like, what?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
I'm like, it's took me weeks and I've came up short. And you found one instantly.
Yep. And I'm like, got it. And if people don't know, I've helped MVP for about 2 years now, finding collectibles in the United States, and I would probably have to say MVP is probably one of the biggest collectors of Destiny in Europe, if not the world at this point, because you got a lot of rare stuff.
Yeah, and there's still a lot more rarer stuff. I know that I don't dabble in the pins much, but the stuff I do have,
yeah,
and the exclusives, like, you know, signed Cade, there's... Yeah. I've only ever saw another signed Cade pop, and it was a different type of Cade.
Oh, really?
It's so... Yeah, it's so rare.
If you have that picture, but, I would love to see that.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's like I've got all of the seal pins, which not many people have. I know one other person in all of my Destiny groups that has all of the seal pins, and even then he's missing the Saint 14 helmet one.
Damn. And I think we've came to a point where Destiny, right, or Bungie didn't ship to Europe, or did they always do that?
They've always shipped to Europe,
but it was more expensive because of customs.
Yeah, it was that we had to pay customs and everything, and it was a nightmare, to be honest, because it was, hey, you know, this t-shirt is cool, and you would buy the t-shirt for like $25, and then you'd pay about $5 to $10 shipping. It would come to the UK, and then so, you know, you paid $35 already, and then you got to pay about another $20 in customs.
So worth it. So worth
it.
But I mean, I've always thought the collectibles definitely, like I said, it just eases the mind, and one, they're great to look at. You know, every day I stock media for, you know, God forbid a Spyro item that I don't have, or a Funko that I want or you need, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy, and I'm so thankful that I can help you at this point, and your collection just has been growing. Every time you get a new package, it's like a day on Christmas. But
it really is.
But would you like to add anything on? Because we've been talking for an hour. Normally the podcast goes for about an hour or so. What are your final questions or last things that you want to get off on a chest, and if you want to come back for a part 2, or if people like it, because I think we fucking killed it, honestly. I think it was actually really good. It's a lot easier with a co-host, because I'm just like, oh, okay, I don't have to talk as much. It takes the pressure off me. But what are your last ending results for your first podcast? Actually, you're gonna get booked off the wazoo after this.
I felt like it was quite nice. Like, at first I was a little bit, you know, anxiety. I'm like, oh, you know, how's it gonna go? How am I gonna be? This, that, and the other. And I feel like after a while, in a way, it just felt like talking normally.
Oh, absolutely. I think you talked more than me, which is saying something. But
I mean, I just hope the people like the topic of conversations.
I like the topic, so I guarantee you they'll love the topic. But where could people where could the main people find you with your art and everything? Obviously, like I said, what is your main thing that you want people to follow or get your eyes on?
Well, if you're following me for art, I'd say definitely through ArtStation, and Joe will have the link to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If not, I'm mostly around on Discord.
Okay.
So, yeah. Because Discord being my main social platform at this point, it's easier for me to send and receive messages there than it is something like Twitter.
Smart. And I'm gonna put all those in the description down below. But without further ado, we talked about mental health, how we met, and this has been one of my biggest supporters, my biggest rocks, and I really wanted more people to know about you because you know, even I appreciate you, and I get people that are just like, man, I really love your thumbnail, and I'm like, don't tell me, tell the person that did it. And you had to be my first host, and if you're my only host, or if we continue me and you, who knows. But thank you everybody for listening on the Wild Cabin podcast. This has been Mrjoewilde, and this has
MVP.
Thank you very much. I didn't even have to say it, and but thank you all for listening. I hope you're happy because you made us happy. Take care, and I'll see you all soon. Check out my Twitch, twitch.tv/Mrjoewilde, and my YouTube, Mrjoewilde. Don't forget the E at the end. Take care, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.